Hi, I'm Rhiannon from Barbecue Spit Rotisseries, and today I'm going to show you how to light a fire in a wood-fired pizza oven. Now, we've all lit a fire in our normal fireplace at home, and lighting a fire inside a wood-fired pizza oven is pretty much the same thing. So there's a couple of essentials that you'll need to get your fire started. Starting off with fire lighters. Now, I like to use an all-natural fire lighter, and this one that we're using today is basically just made from compressed cardboard. I don't like to use anything like the little white Jiffy lighters or anything like that. It's got chemicals in there, and my theory is I don't want that anywhere near the food that I'm cooking. Now, the other important thing that you'll need is some kindling. Now, we all know kindling. It's really thin pieces of wood that catch light easy, and that will go on top of our fire lighters. The next thing that we'll need is some hardwood. So I've got some hardwood here, which is about the same length as your forearm, and you'll need about 4 or 5 pieces of hardwood. Now, I cannot stress enough how important it is to have dry hardwood. Now, I'm not talking about the firewood that you can pick up from your local petrol station or anything like that. This needs to be bone dry. So nothing that's been just chopped down from your backyard. It needs to have dried for a minimum of 6, preferably 12 months. So something like iron bark or red gum will really do the trick. Now, some other essentials that you will need will be some heat-proof gloves, ideally ones that cover up to your elbow. As you can imagine, this oven is going to be absolutely roaring, so the longer the gloves are, the better. The other thing you'll need is something to light the fire lighters with. So I like to use these little butane torches, but you could also use matches, for example. Now, you can imagine once your fire's all lit and it's time to put the pizza in, you'll need to move the wood to the back of the oven. And that's when these other tools come in handy. So I like to use a stainless steel scraper, which has a nice long handle, long enough to reach the back of your oven. And the other essential is some sort of brush. Because what you'll do is you'll need to sweep the floor of the pizza oven to remove any soot or ash on there. Obviously, you don't want the soot and the ash to go into the base of your pizza oven. So now I've run you through all the essentials of what you'll need to light a fire in your wood-fired pizza oven. Let's go through the way that you start setting it all up. So down the bottom, I've used 3 all-natural fire lighters. And then on top of that, we've positioned some kindling. Now, I recommend starting off with about 5 or 6 pieces of kindling, and you want to allow enough airflow around that not to smother the initial flame. Then over the top of the kindling, we'll add about 4 or 5 pieces of our hardwood. The first step is to light the fire lighters. Now that the fire lighters and kindling is lit, we're going to add our hardwood. Now, as you can see, it's very important that you are wearing heat-proof gloves. Now, the pizza oven that we're cooking with today is the Flaming Coals Premium Pizza Oven, and on the top of the flue, there is a baffle plate. Now, I like to have the baffle all the way open for about the first 15 minutes. And what that allows is any resins that may have been on the kindling, the fire lighters, or on the hardwood, that escapes up through the chimney and expels. That way you're not keeping those contaminants inside your oven where you're going to put your food. After 15 minutes, I'll close it off about halfway, and then we'll put the door on so the pizza oven can get nice and hot. So the wood's been burning for about 15 minutes, so what we're going to do now is put the door on. Now, I am leaving the door slightly open, that way more air can get through and help keep the fire going. We've had our fire burning for about 20 minutes, and as you can see from the dial, we're sitting at about 450 degrees Celsius, which is my ideal cooking temperature, but anywhere between 400 and 450 will be fine. So we'll take the door off and we'll have a peek inside. You can see that the fire has really started to break down and the oven is quite hot, including the bricks. What we need to do is make room for the pizza. So we're going to get our pizza brush and our pizza scraper and move the fire to the back of the oven. Okay, so I've got a nice long-handled wood scraper and of course my heat-proof gloves. Once we have the fire towards the rear of the oven, use a brush to sweep the bricks. Sweeping the bricks will just help remove any of that residual ash. The other thing that I like to check before putting my pizzas in the oven is to check the temperature of the stone. So using an infrared thermometer will allow you to do that. Now I like to aim for a temperature of somewhere between 350 to 400 degrees Celsius. And because our fire was so hot, we are sitting at about 395 Celsius in this instance. At this temperature, your pizzas will be done in about 2 to 3 minutes. So the only thing left to do is to put the pizza in. So this particular pizza oven is quite large, so you could cook 3 large pizzas in there if you wanted at the same time, just by putting the fire towards one of the back corners. Me personally, I wouldn't be cooking more than 2, because as you can see, there is quite a bit of work involved to maneuver the pizzas during the cook. So this particular pizza oven is quite well insulated. So if after you finish cooking pizzas, you're planning on cooking a roast or a loaf of bread, just wait for the temperature to come down to about between 200 and 220 degrees Celsius before putting other food in.